Looks like I was wrong, guys. Looks like they didn't get to talk about their feelings, specifically Momo. Oh well, I kind of knew this was going to happen on the inside, but that's typical manga and anime for you. You want to get right down to the nitty gritty of a relationship, and it just falls flat because it gets interrupted by something else. But listen, man, we got Dandadan chapter 26, and we got a pretty brief chapter, in my opinion. And we got a little bit of character development, and we learned something new, right? So, let's really get into it. All right, guys. So, starts out, it looks like Momo is about to say something, right? But of course, like anything else, there's always you're always getting blue ball, right? So, as she's about to speak and say whatever she was going to say, Momo's friends come out of nowhere. And they're like, "Oh, we've been looking for you." They've been looking all over for her. They heard what happened in the middle of class, how they were like, or how her and Ira were both like naked in front of class D. And Momo and Okarun are looking a little flushed. And then, I don't know the name of this friend. I forget the name, so apologies for that. But it's the girl with the top knot. She's basically going like, you know what? I solved the mystery, right? And in her roundabout way, she's discovered that there's a love triangle, which kind of, sort of, technically isn't wrong. One person has confessed to Okarun. The other is pretending like she doesn't have feelings, but, she's getting to that point where she's going to reveal those feelings, right? But there is kind of sort of a love triangle going on, and she basically summed up the reason that they were all naked was it was some nude gladiator combat between the three of them for Okarun, right? And I found that kind of funny. And by the way, man, I say this every review. The art is so good, so good, and also too, I want to add, he really knows how to draw women. Like I read My Hero Academia, and I feel like Horikoshi is really good with drawing like female characters, and I just feel like Tatsu's just really good at it. On top of just being a really good artist, right? But moving on, she then mentions how the reason she thought it was some gladiator fight is because Momo was talking to the shrimp and thinking she was asking him, hey, how do you punch and stuff, which I thought was kind of funny too. I forgot that little tidbit chapters ago when that happened. And then so basically Momo's trying to tell her off, like, look, I'm not jealous, like, stop talking, that's not what's happening. And then the other girl's like, you're the culprit, and Okarun's like, look, stop it, please stop, right? And then we get Ira. And Ira, she's surrounded by all of her, I wouldn't say friends, but I guess people that basically worship her, right? And Ira's basically like, look, thank you everyone, you're making me feel great, but I don't want to talk about what happened. And she's kind of thinking in her head like, man, it's so good to be popular, all the benefits, it's just great. It'll feel like this incident never happened, right? And then they start talking crap about Momo. They start talking about how she's like sleeping all around with every guy, how she's like been harassing Ira lately, and I think Ira kind of thinks back to how she's been acting, what they've all been through, right? And we get a little bit of character development, and she basically tells them like, look, I'm the one that spread those rumors, right? And if you really think back to when this all started between the two, Ira was talking she was talking stuff about Okarun that was pretty bad, pretty harsh. Like, it was on some Mean Girls stuff. It was pretty bad, and Momo got pissed and retaliated, which, I mean, I don't blame her, right? But she's kind of grown from that a little bit and how the way she's been acting, and she's basically like, yeah, I was wrong for doing that, please don't speak ill of her, which was pretty good. And I think this is going to be the start of their friendship. Now, I don't know where this love triangle is going to go between the three, but I think she's a good addition. she's kind of ditzy, a little stupid, but I think it works because Momo is kind of the glue between these two that kind of hold them together anyway. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting, right? And she's we see her on the next panel like banging her head. In the English translation, she's saying "idjit, idjit, idjit." It's kind of weird, but the way she's saying it, she's kind of like stressed. She's basically saying idiot over and over, right? And then Momo pops up and they're basically talking. And she's basically saying, did you come up with a convincing story? And she's like, oh, playing it off like, of course I did. Everyone hates you. And then Momo can kind of see right through it and basically saying, you didn't. Like, I know you didn't. I could tell. And I think she's in a sense relieved, but she definitely knows that you didn't actually do that. And then out of nowhere, we get the again, I don't know how to explain this guy, but we get the Hispanic. Not actually, no. We get the Spanish-speaking crab, right? And they get into their battle positions, Ira and Momo, and the guy says Chiquita, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but he says this right before he attacks. He says, I don't know if it's ew or all. I feel like it's all and my cry. And, that's when he would attack, but he falls over. Right. And then we get a little flashback. And I actually don't know if Momo's seeing this flashback. I thought she was at first because of what happened in the arc with Ira and the dancer, the ballet dancer. But I don't think she is. I think this is the Kappa as we know him now. This is the Kappa flashing back to like his kid or whatever, right? And then he's basically saying, I'm sorry, Chiquita. So we know that this is his daughter. And then he wakes up out of nowhere and he's like, where am I? And we were now back at Momo's grandma's house, right? And she's like, see, Granny, he's an alien. And the grandma is like, no, seems to be a Kappa. And, Kappa is like some amphibious yokai demon, right? And she's like, what are you talking about? Look at it. It's basically, dude looks like an alien / crab / I don't know, with boxing gloves, right? And then Momo thinks he's gonna attack, and she's like, better stop, my granny is right there. And he basically starts to break down, and he basically says, this is the first time I've ever gotten this kind of medical attention or been treated so kindly. I swear I'll never try to hurt you people again. So that ends the chapter. We might get, a yokai on our side to basically fight I'm guessing maybe the banana aliens and other people in the future. He might become a good friend of these guys. So, we'll see. But, it was a pretty simple chapter. I thought it was pretty good overall. Kind of sucks that we didn't get more with Momo and Okarun, but it's to be expected. We're only like 26 chapters in, right? So, but we know that they both at this point have feelings for each other, and it's only gonna escalate at this point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Great chapter.